Periodico Bookmakers present The Dead of Winter, a novelist's Hanazawa Afterlife by George Stenson. Chapter 6 The New Bear Country. From the safety of his bicycle and cocooned in his earbuds, Toru watched a policeman rush to stop a jogger. The jogger was only a few steps up the street beside Kenrokuen's main entrance, down by the 21st Century Art Museum. The policeman shouted, then ran after him. He grabbed the jogger by the arm. At first, the jogger twisted and pushed away. When he realized a policeman was grabbing him, he calmed down. The policeman pointed at the garden, waved his arms, pointed to the museum, and urged the jogger to run away. Toru looked at the garden entrance. It seemed calm, quiet, but strange. There were no tourists climbing up the slight gravelly slope. 3 policemen stood at the entrance. 2 were looking at the garden. 1 was looking at the intersection where more policemen directed pedestrians, bicycles, and cars away from the park. Once the light changed, Toru pedaled down the shady, tree-lined street, the garden behind him. He wondered what was going on, but raced to Korimbo. He was early for his waiter job at the restaurant on the top floor of the same building that on the first floor housed a Mr. Donut. Toru liked the juxtaposition of a shop that attracted mostly young women seeking a cheap place to drink, study their phones, and gossip, versus his restaurant catering to the worst kind of customers, rich, entitled, older men with their 20-something bought and paid for female companions. The novelist hurried into Marquez. He saw an old man sitting at the far end of the counter. Instead of sitting at his usual spot, the novelist sat closer to the door. He stared at the stereo speakers before realizing Charlie Parker was playing Segment, a song he hadn't listened to in decades, with a ubiquitous Max Roach backing everyone on drums. "Hey Kafka, how you doing? Did you hear about Kenrokuen?" Before that, Judy held up the blue coffee cup and a water glass. Or both. Both, but did you hear about Kenrokuen? Nope. Judy turned to switch on the coffee maker and fill the water glass with fresh, sparkling, expensive, French tap water. She was amazed people paid a lot for water. The power of advertising, she guessed. She studied the old man. He had one gnarled, liver-spotted, blotchy neck. "How are you doing, sir?" The old man looked up from his nearly depleted cup of coffee. "Naoko?" He stared at Judy for a few seconds, trying to remember if she was his granddaughter or a server at a coffee shop. He looked around, saw the novelist, and realized where he was. "I'm fine," he mumbled. "Fine," he said a little bit louder. He rubbed his neck before cradling his coffee in 2 hands. Judy brought the novelist's water to him, haphazardly placing it in front of him. He caught it before a single drop spilled, but glared at Judy before realizing she wasn't looking at him, but at the old man. "He okay?" The coffee maker beeped. "Dunno." Judy walked the 2 steps to the coffee maker, poured it in the blue cup, and returned to the novelist, setting her elbows on the counter. "He was standing outside the door when I got here," she whispered. "I think he's got—" She circled her forefinger around her temple. "You mean dementia, right?" The novelist avoided looking down Judy's blouse. He kept his attention on the old man until he realized he was staring at him. He moved his eyes to the coffee machine. Yeah, sorry, not crazy. Dementia. Did you hear him call me Naoko just now?" "Yeah, I did. Scary." He looked Judy in the eyes. "I wouldn't say scary, but weird for sure." She sat up. She knew cleavage confused many men, but hers made the novelist uncomfortable after the last time. She leaned against the wall, crossed her arms across her chest, and stared at nothing for a moment. So, she looked at the novelist. Tell me about Kenrokuen. What? Oh, yeah, I was just starting my run when a policeman stopped me. For what? Running a red light? No, no, nothing about me. A bear was sighted in the garden. It injured a gardener, I think, or a tourist. Anyway, the cop told me someone was taken to the hospital and told me to take refuge in the museum or some other building. Wow, cities are becoming new bear country, aren't they? Especially dying villages. Very unusual for a bear to get to Kenrokuen, seeing how it's surrounded by houses and buildings, busy roads. If they can find it, I wonder if they're going to kill it. They could tranquilize it. Didn't you have bears in Nebraska? Not a one. They were wiped out in the last century, early in the last century. The old man stood up. He looked around Marquez as if lost. He saw Judy and the novelist staring at him. I should go. Nalco's waiting for me. He gazed around the shop. He couldn't find the door. Judy walked over to him. Couldn't Nalco come here, sir? In her car? The old man stared at the window overlooking Kenrokuen. Car? Nalco? He looked from the novelist to Judy. Nalco's here? Sir, please sit down. Do you have Nalco's phone number? I'll call her, and she can come pick you up. Judy looked at the window. It's dangerous out there. There's a bear. Bear? He looked at the door. In here? Not in here, Judy said, slowly and carefully. In Kenrokuen. Oh, the old man mumbled as he rubbed his blotchy neck. The age-spotted blotches were reddish brown, like old handkerchiefs that had faded in the sun. He sat, but looked at Judy, worried he was disturbing her, worried that he needed to urinate, but would forget. If only Nalco were here. Do you have an address, sir, or a phone number? Someone we can call? Someone? Do you have a driver's license or some? The novelist moved closer to the old man. He put his hand on the old man's shoulder to get his attention. Hi. The old man rubbed his neck and looked at the novelist. Riku? Yes, Dad? Why are you here? To see you, Dad. But the old man stared deeply into the novelist's eyes. You're dead. Can I see your wallet? Judy wants to be paid. The old man looked at Judy, back at the novelist, then at the counter. She, he pointed at Judy, isn't Naoko? Dad, that's Judy. The old man pulled his wallet from his pocket. He put it on the counter where Judy snatched it up, rifled through it until she found a driver's license. There was the old man's name and address. Judy picked up her phone, punched in a number, and walked away from the counter and out the door to talk in the street. The novelist and the old man sat silently. The old man stared at the counter. The novelist sipped his coffee, but watched the old man out of the corner of his eye. I used to work in City Hall before you retired. About 15 years ago. Yes, before I retired. How was it? The old man looked out the window at Kenrokuen. Have you ever been there, Riku? He pointed at the garden. I like going there. Have you been there? Yes, many times. I like Shigurete and the waterfall. Judy re-entered her cafe. She twitched a finger, and the novelist joined her. As she spoke, she turned away from the old man and whispered, I called the cops for a welfare check. He lives alone, but they found his daughter. She's coming to pick him up. Good, good. That's good. His daughter is Naoko? She looked at her cafe. Where's the old man? The cafe was empty. Only two people, the novelist and Judy, occupied the small shop. He was just, there's only one exit. Judy walked to the end of the counter. The man's empty coffee cup commanded the area like a defiant soldier willing to die for their country. A ring of water indicated where a glass had previously sat. Do you think he was a ghost, Kafka?